Good morning, fourth graders. Welcome to our robotics class. This is week 26. So last week we had our first engineering design challenge with the foil boat challenge, and I hope that you guys had a lot of fun. I did receive a few that sent it in early, so I have some that I'm going to be sharing in the video, and I'm sure the others are sending theirs probably today or tomorrow. So I hope that you had fun. I mean, the idea of doing these challenges is getting to be hands-on, right? Be creative, create something, test it out. If you need to change it, make some changes, test it again. And you're really getting to put the engineering design process into play and see what it really is like for engineers, right? And get to really experience it through these fun challenges. So just to remind you about the challenge from last week, it was the foil boat challenge. You were supposed to take either one piece of 12 by 12 regular strength or one piece of 7 by 7 heavy duty foil, 50 coins, and then you needed a sink to fill it up with 6 inches of water. And so then you were just testing out your boat to see if it could hold at least 50 coins. So if you had some pennies, that would have been great. So let's take a look at some of the kids who sent theirs in. So I have here, this is Elijah. Elijah sent one in here. And so Elijah went and answered all the questions. So it has to be able to hold 50 pennies. And then Elijah came up with an idea, make a canoe that's flat, add pennies, and try to balance it. And then he sketched it out. And I don't know if you can see, but this is a picture of his final boat. So it does look very similar to a canoe shape. Look at that. Wow, Elijah. And look, I love how he divided it up, and he looks like he tried to put an even amount of pennies all along the perimeter to try and balance it out. And so that way it wasn't too much weight on one side and then it was sinking, right? So that was really excellent that you were able to do that. Thank you so much, Elijah, for sending it in. And I wonder how many other kids came up with a similar design or maybe something different. And actually, we also have one that came in from Sua. And so Sua, she decided to go with a rectangle shape. And I'm going to show you, she sent in some pictures that we're going to take a look at. So there's her boat. And you notice it is a rectangular shape. And it looks like she took all the coins and she really tried to drop them evenly and spread them out all around the boat. So that way, again, there wasn't just too much weight on one side and then it was sinking. And so there it is. Let's see, she sent in a few more pictures. Let me go to the next picture. Oh, there's Sua testing her boat out. Great job, Sua. And there it is again. It looks like it's working. It's holding. Nice idea. I like how you tested it out. And it looks great. So see, we can already see from these two students that the boat design looks pretty different, right? They came up with different ideas and different strategies, different plans, but yet they were able to make it work. So if you are still working on this, please send it in to me this week, okay? So remember, to get full credit, you need to fill out all the questions, and then you need to send pictures in. So that way, or if you wanted to take a video. I did this, I think it was last year with the kids, and so they had a lot of fun taking videos of testing everything out and sending it in. So you can also do that. I just want you to have fun learning about engineering and just really getting to think with your brain, right? Like how you can design something and be able to actually see it come to life, right? So thank you. And I look forward to seeing the rest of you guys send them in. If you do want to include yours in the video, just let me know in the email, like, oh, could you include mine? So that way I know, because I don't want to put somebody's in if they don't want it in. And I know I did have some kids say, oh, please don't put mine. So I understand, but so just let me know, okay, if you would like it or not. And that way, and maybe next week, even though we have a new challenge. So we're gonna move into our new challenge this week. This week, our challenge is the paper tower challenge. And so The paper tower challenge, you get to use 3 pieces of 8x5 by 11-inch paper, 10 paper clips. If you don't have paper clips, you can just use tape, and then a pair of scissors. And the challenge is to build a structure that is at least 2 feet tall. So you probably will need like a ruler to measure and make sure it's 2 feet tall. And here's the catch. It must be freestanding. So you can't lean it against the wall or lean it against something. It has to be on its own, standing. It's not leaning on anything that's holding it up. So you do have to be careful to make sure the way that you design it, that it's balanced and it can actually stand. So here's what you can do. If you have computer paper, you can take computer paper. And if you don't have computer paper, just try to get paper that's about this size. And then you have to really be strategic. So you're allowed to have 3 pieces of the paper. So you can have 3 of these pieces. You can have 3 of them. And then you have to start thinking about the design. So how are you going to come up with a paper tower? It needs to stand on its own, and it needs to be 2 feet tall. So again, you can use scissors. You can cut the paper if you have like a plan of how you want to do it. Like for example, if you consider maybe rolling one up and then maybe somehow you want to add some balance. Maybe you want to cut this or something and put like a little piece platform there. And then maybe you want to add like another one on top of the platform, and then maybe use the other half of this to come up with like some sort of top for it. I'm just giving some suggestions, but you really will have to play around with it and come up with a design where it actually is 2 feet tall and it can stand on its own. So that's really the challenge. And when you think about it, you know, there's all of these towers in the world, these skyscrapers, right? I mean, if you just go into the city, there's skyscrapers everywhere, right? And essentially, engineers had to go and they had to envision, they had to come up with a vision for those towers. And then guess what they had to do? They had to really think about the structure. How can a tower that is going to have, 80 floors, how are we going to make sure that it actually can stand on its own and it's not going to fall over, right? And there's a whole process behind that. And so it really is like, if you love designing things and you love challenges, then engineering can really be a fun field for you, because I mean, you could be on the team that creates the newest skyscraper. And that's a real job. They have to go in, they have to plan, they have to design, they have to test, they have to make sure that the structure is going to be, stable, secure, and it's going to be able to withstand weather and everything. And so it is really amazing. Like I always think, when you just take a walk down any city block and you start looking around, you're like, wow, how in the world did they build these? How did they make these buildings? Right? And it's incredible, the detail and just the sheer like structure design behind these buildings. And so I know, what, we're using paper, but paper is a great way to use your imagination, to design, and to really practice your engineering skills, right? And it's inexpensive. Everybody has paper. So again, these challenges, I'm really trying to find things where it's just, it's household items, not really anything too crazy where you need to go out and buy like supplies. I don't want to cost anybody money. I don't want to make it hard in the sense that you have to go out and get something. I'm trying to make challenges where they're just very basic materials, but then you can still have fun and learn something with it, and it can be fun. And it also teaches you guys that, there's things sitting around your house right now that you can use to practice engineering, to create and design things, and we don't even realize, things that are around. We're going to be doing, I don't know if we're doing it next week, but we're going to be doing something with marshmallows. So I'm going to be needing you guys to go out and get some marshmallows. And so I'll tell you about that probably next week. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And we use toothpicks. And so it is funny how just things that we have around the house, we could use for our challenges, and we can have fun with them. So here's some of the questions that you have to answer for the paper tower challenge. What are the criteria and constraints? So what's the criteria? Well, the criteria are you have to use 3 pieces of paper, 8.5 by 11 inches, 10 paper clips, or, you know, probably not too much tape. You have to make sure it's kind of a certain amount of tape if you don't have paper clips. You can use scissors. And then the constraints, well, it needs to be at least 2 feet tall, and it must be freestanding, so it can't be leaning on anything. What does the structure have to be? 2 feet tall, right? Something that limits the design. What do you think? Well, I mean, you only have 3 pieces of paper, and you have to make it freestanding, so that can be a little bit limiting, but I know you can make it happen. It's just that you're going to have to think it through. So research and brainstorm. List your ideas here. So come up with some ideas, maybe sketch it out. In step 3, sketch it out. Some ideas for what your tower can look like. Develop a prototype, build a model to test your idea. Is it a solid design? And then test and modify. So maybe you need to make some changes to your tower to make sure that it actually stands on its own. And then you're going to, again, send in pictures, please. I would love to be able to share more pictures to help kids see each other's designs. And that's a fun way to share the designs with each other, right? So you do want to please send in some pictures. That would be great, okay? But otherwise, just have fun with it. And please send in the sheet too. And that way I can give you guys credit for your second design challenge. Okay, guys? All right, well, have fun with it. And I look forward to seeing all your pictures that you're going to send in. All right, bye, guys.